Some of the worst members of our society all together standing up and just identifying themselves via public internet posts about that assassination. And you're seeing this everywhere. It's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. The most dangerous place that these people hide, of course, is inside of our schools, right? Those are the ones that are indoctrinating our kids. In just the past 6 days, we can tell you that hundreds of teachers and school administrators have been either punished or fired for their vile public responses to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Tweets like these: "Karma is a bee, thoughts and prayers, a-hole." Another posting that she's loving seeing Charlie Kirk's obituary. There's countless examples of this. One Nazi down, there we go, more and more. And in a way, it's becoming a cleansing of the disease that is attacking our kids, because these people are all being found and moved out of these schools, at least suspended and identified, if not fired. At least you know who they are. One prime example is a raving lunatic from Rhode Island who teaches social studies to little kids.
This is a man who hated the LGBTQ community, who hated women's rights, who hated democracy, thought he proved how tough he was with his words that he studied ahead of time. What a piece of garbage. This is what happens. I'm curious if we're going to want to take guns away now from who will inevitably be the white man who shot and killed him. Bye, Charlie.
What a piece of garbage, he says. This is what happens, because with his ideology, this is what happens. You say something that offends me, you die. That's a teacher of like 7-year-old kids. And he was dumb enough as a teacher to post this, knowing that he was followed by so many of his students and their parents online. So not only is he a vile person, he's an idiot. He is a bold-faced idiot. Bad judgment for somebody who's allegedly smart enough to teach. I guess he's just smart enough to figure out the curriculum of a second grader. He can teach that. His full rant was so awful that it led 3 students, 3 little kids from his class, to go in front of their school board and file this complaint.
Charlie was not a racist, he did not hurt anyone sexually, and he did not kill anyone. Therefore, this was an unjustified cause of death that should never be celebrated. Charlie's children do not deserve to grow up without their father. Charlie's wife did not deserve to lose her husband. Charlie did not deserve to lose his life because of a different opinion. But this teacher deserves to lose his job.
Someone who advocated for an arrested murderer and assassinator of one of the greatest debaters and free speakers of our time should have no place in the classroom.
I do not feel comfortable or safe with one of our teachers supporting violence.
Some pretty brave kids there. I was a little young on the age estimation, probably, 12, 14 years old. But remember when teachers just taught their kids without such delusions of self-importance like this guy has? And the problem is, this teacher, whose name is Ben Philo, or Philo, F-I-L-L-O, didn't just broadcast these opinions online. He was working to indoctrinate our kids in class as well, as one student explained to that same school board this week.
There were previous claims about how he respects all political views, but from my experience, this is not true. When he taught the Civil War, he claimed that modern Republicans would support slavery, and this is certainly false information and extremely politically biased. We also had to write a speech at the end of the year. I wanted to write my topic about transgender athletes, and after submitting my form of what my speech is going to be about, he pulled us into another classroom and we roughly talked for 40 minutes, trying to get us to change our topic, and he claimed that he didn't want us to hurt other students. After hearing my other classmates' speeches, I realized that I may have been targeted due to my political view.
Modern Republicans would support slavery, she said. That's what he was trying to instill in his students. That's what you want your 13-year-old absorbing at school. The delusional political ideology of their teacher. Philo had his defenders, though, and no surprise, there are other staffers who, of course, share his same worldview, like this guy obviously does.
I rise today with deep concern over the treatment of one of our most dedicated and life-changing teachers. This is a person who has poured his heart out into his students, including my own children who went to Barrington High School, and has changed student lives for the better. Most of that post is entirely factual. From my watching of it, he only made 2 opinion comments. Were they insensitive? Perhaps. But let us be clear, by putting a teacher on leave in this circumstance, that is a dangerous move.
Oh, that's the dangerous move, huh? Dedicated and life-changing, he described this teacher. How is it life-changing? How is he changing lives? By forcing his political belief system into his students? How righteous of him. Our education system is rotten. We've known this for a while. It has been fully captured by the Marxist left, and we're currently in the midst of a valiant effort to rip it from their grasp. The mindset of the people controlling that system is what's really scary. Teachers Union President Randy Weingarten ranting in Rolling Stone this week about how Trump is a fascist. Read the room, lady. In the wake of a left-wing assassination, a fascist move to its core, you're screaming that Donald Trump and the White House are fascist. She also retweeted this right after Charlie Kirk was killed. The leftist students in Utah who didn't want Charlie Kirk to speak did what leftists do. They signed petitions, staged a protest, and lined up to challenge him. The right-winger who didn't want Charlie Kirk to speak did what right-wingers do and shot him. Randy Weingarten retweeted that. How in the world does this woman run a teachers union? She is such a pitiful little woman. She is so uneducated. She is such an imbecile. And as Americans realize just how terrifying late-stage leftism becomes, because we're seeing that right now, right? We're seeing how this thing has evolved and what it's turning into. As we watch that, Obama decides to chime in on all of this and attempts to throw the label of all of this chaos and all this extremism back at Republicans with an absolutely ridiculous claim.
Undoubtedly, there are people who are extremists and who say things that are contrary to what I believe are America's core values. But I will say that those extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them.
Obama didn't think he was extreme. The man who brought America's alleged racism, the racism of our entire existence, to the forefront of everyone's minds and pounded it into your head, make you hate yourself. All the Marxism that's infiltrated our country started with Obama. Class warfare. The man who taught the United States to hate itself, a feeling we had never had before. Remember how much pride we used to have in this country? How it was felt throughout? He ripped that from us. But there was no extremism for Obama, right? Obama ripped this country from its perch with a smile on his face. He had support from our liberal allies who all hate this country, smiles from Hollywood, hate this country. So it was broadly accepted by all the institutions as he decimated everything that we were so proud of. And he did it so happily. But it wasn't extreme, right? That's not extreme. Apparently what is extreme is loving your country and implementing an agenda that actual Americans actually support. That apparently is extremism. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.